Hello friends, let's read the Big Orange Splot. Mr. Plumbean lived on a street where all the houses were the same. He liked it that way. So did everyone else on Mr. Plumbean's street. This is a neat street, they would say. Then, one day, a seagull flew over Mr. Plumbean's house. He was carrying a can of bright orange paint. No one knows why. And he dropped the can, no one knows why, right on Mr. Plumbean's house. It made a big orange splot on Mr. Plumbean's house. Oh, too bad, everyone said. Mr. Plumbean will have to paint his house again. I suppose I will, said Mr. Plumbean. But he didn't paint his house right away. He looked at the big orange splot for a long time and then went about his business. The neighbors have got tired of seeing the big orange splot. Someone said, please, Mr. Plumbean, we wish you get around to painting your house. Okay, said Mr. Plumbean. Got some blue paint and some white paint, and that night he got busy. He painted at night because it was cooler. When the paint was gone, the roof was blue, the walls were white, and the big orange splot was still there. Then he got some more paint. He got red paint, yellow paint, green paint, and purple paint. In the morning, the other people on the street came out of their houses. Their houses were all the same, but Mr. Plumbean's house was like a rainbow. It was a jungle. It was like an explosion. There was a big orange spot. There were little orange spots. There were stripes. There were pictures of elephants and lions and pretty girls and steam shovels. The people said Plumbean had popped his cork, flipped his wig, blown his stack, and dropped his stopper. That night, Mr. Plumbean bought some carpenter's tools and built a tower on top of his roof, and painted a clock on the tower. Next day, the people said Plumbean had gushed his mush, lost his marbles, and slipped his hawser. They decided they would pretend not to notice. That very night, Mr. Plumbean got a truck full of green trees. He planted palm trees, baobabs, thorn bushes, onions, and frangipani. In the morning, he bought a hammock and an alligator. When other people came out of their houses, they saw Mr. Plumbean swinging in a hammock between two palm trees, and they saw an alligator lying in the grass. Plumbean was drinking lemonade. Plumbean has gone too far. This used to be a neat street. Plumbean, what have you done to your house? Many people shouted. My house is me, and I am it. My house is where I'd like to be, and it looks like all my dreams, said Mr. Plumbean. The people went away and asked his neighbor to reason with him and change his house. I went to see Mr. Plumbean that evening. They sat under the palm trees, drinking lemonade and talking all night long. Early the next morning, the man went out to get the lumber and rope and nails and paints. When the people came out of their houses, they saw a red and yellow ship next door to Mr. Plumbean. What have you done to your house? They shouted at the man. My house is me and I am it. My house is where I like to be and looks like all of my dreams, said the man. He had always loved ships. He's just like Plumbean, the people said. He's got knots in his noodle. Then, one by one, they went to see Mr. Plumbean late at night and drink lemonade and talk about their dreams. And whenever anybody would go to Mr. Plumbean's house, that person would create a home that fits their dreams. Whenever a stranger came to the street of Mr. Plumbean and his neighbors, the stranger would say, "This is not a neat street." And all the people would say, "Our street is us, and we are it. Our street is where we like to be and looks like all of our dreams." The end.